Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Mindset and Business Dojo Show. My name is John and I am your mindset business coach. In today's episode, I'm going to break down how to become or how to build consistency, right? How to be a person who is consistent at what they do, because that is what it really is, right? It becomes a quality. How do you turn it from just being, uh, you know, uh, how do you turn it from being something that you do sometimes to an actual quality that is represented in different aspects of your life? So the first thing I want you to think of is, what areas in your life right now do you consider yourself to be really consistent? And then what areas of your life would you like to have those same levels of a consistency in, or even higher levels? Because what I want you to do is I want you to look at the structure behind the consistency. And what I mean by that is, the thing that you do over and over, let's just use a simple example. Brush your teeth. Why do you brush your teeth every single day? You should brush your teeth every single day, but why? Has it become a habit or a pattern that you do over and over? Well, one of the core reasons is there's evidence that if we don't take care of our teeth, we're going to suffer in the long run. It's also something that was ingrained in us pretty much from a very young age. So it's a habit that gets hardwired over and over, and you continue to build more repetition around. There's also some short-term effects of not doing it. Maybe smelly breath, yellow teeth. So there's some consequences for not doing the thing. And there's some fear there. There's some pain associated to not taking action. There's not necessarily pleasure associated to doing it consistently, but there is pain. But there's other areas of your life where you do something consistently, and a good example for me would be, those who see my Facebook post will pretty much see I work out, 6 or 7 days a week. I've done that consistency for 10 years. It's not to be a bodybuilder. It's not to compete. It's to continue to hold myself to a higher standard and continue to add new layers to the consistency I've already built with it. Because I know when I do this, my life is better. I know when I do this, I'm mentally sharper. So it's important for me. It helps me to achieve the outcomes that I want. And that's the real importance. You have to know the outcome. How do you even know what you need to be consistent with if you don't have a clear outcome? And you don't have a clear purpose to that outcome? Well, why is it important? Why is it important that you get up 4 days a week and go to the gym? Why is it important that you make X amount of calls in your business? Why is it important that you join that course so you don't keep spinning the same cycle over and over? You build consistency when you set an outcome that you really want to accomplish. And you've got a strong meaning or a strong purpose to that outcome, and then you make a decision. You commit. And when you commit, you're not half committing, because we do that with a lot of things. New Year's resolutions. It's not a full commitment. You give yourself the back door, you almost expect it. Instead of, when you declare I'm going to do this, and you hold yourself to that standard, you expect to be a person who works out. You expect to make the right diet choices. You expect to create intentional space in your personal relationships so your marriage continues to grow. The consistency comes with that decision, with a commitment. Not a commitment that you're going to try to bargain on a daily basis, but a commitment to change, and a commitment to, this is the thing I need to do to get to my next level, to succeed, to overcome these things that I'm going through or working through right now. That's how you build consistency. You can break into the science of it and look at it from tiny habits, right? Start with the smallest step first, but take action. Tony Robbins would say, right, never leave the scene of an opportunity without taking an action step. Because if you don't act now, you're probably not going to act later. You'll talk yourself out of it. You'll revert back to your old patterns. Take action in the moment. Join the course. Join that mastermind. Join that gym. Make a decision and do it. commit to the first step. What's the next step? Well, it could be, now I got to get running shoes. Now I got to put on my workout shoes. Have you ever put on your running shoes and not gone for a run? So what was the challenging part? It's getting to the space where you probably get out of bed and put on your running shoes. So find what's the first step that I can take action on, that I can start to build repetition around. And how can I simplify it to make it easier over time? One of the great coaches I worked with, Brian Grasso, he used to always talk about simplicity and consistency. Simplicity and consistency. Move away from the complex. Focus on the simplicity and being consistent with those simple tasks that you create for yourself. Whatever that workout is, whatever that diet plan you choose is, whatever that means of improving your communication or means of improving your relationship or your business that you choose to go down, be consistent with it. And do it relentlessly over and over until you get the results that you want. And when you need to adapt and pivot, you do, but the consistency remains. Just the strategy might slightly change. So I hope that's something that's helpful, and I hope it's something that elevates your thinking today and gets you to think a little bit different about your life right now and the areas you don't have consistency and the areas you do have consistency, and what can you use, model from those areas and apply to the other areas of your life. That is it for today. Be well, everyone, and as always, ascend higher.